Now my internet, it's been acting fine the whole time. Now we trying to go live. It want to be janky.
Don't you hate that? That would be nothing but the devil doing that. I swear it be.
All right, we
They want
live.
us to get this message out.
Right.
Hello,
Good
everyone. I am Felicia. This is my co-host, Deidre Lachey. And
Hey
today we
guys.
are going to talk about self-love. Okay, because self-love is not an option, it's a necessity of life, honey. And we're going to break it down why it's so important to have self-love, okay? And the benefits of having self-love as well.
Yes. And we can probably even give you some tips on a self-care guide. Um it's not selfish. Like she said, it's a necessity.
Mhm.
I know me personally, my self-care sucks. I am always in go, 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 go mode. So I never take those moments to, spend time with myself, not like I used to. And this is really important one for me. So by Felicia about to put my shoes on the right feet because I will be the first one to admit I do not do any self care like I used to. My self care went from spending time to hopping in the shower, and I'm like, well, I don't really know if that's self care because I got a shower. Like that's a necessity.
Yeah, but it's a part of self-care because you got some people who be so depressed and down with anxiety who don't even take the time out to, you know what I'm saying, to cleanse themselves. So it's most definitely a part of self-love, self-care bars, getting in a tub and stuff like that. It is.
Yes.
Everybody go through certain things where they just feel so down and so low sometimes, but you got to have that self-determination, that power, that willpower in order to get up and keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have our days,
Yes.
but we have to have that self-determination. And that self-determination comes out of self-love.
It does. I was watching a video earlier today on a reel,
Mm.
and it was someone talking to Ti, and he was like, "There's three kinds of self confidence. So you get self confidence from worldly things. The more objects you have, the more confidence you feel in yourself. Then there's self confidence from your God given ability. So Felicia's an excellent practitioner, so that would be her confidence. And if you something happens and she can't practice anymore, she may lose that confidence. The third one is the confidence that you have in yourself. When you know that you can do anything that you put your mind to, that's when you become unstoppable. I was like, oh my God, I love that. Like, I've never thought about confidence and self worth on that level. And it was just like mind blowing for me.
Mm-hmm. And he did. He broke it down in a good way, in a very
And
good
the
way.
girl in 60 seconds, like literally, he was just like bam, bam, bam. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, when you think about stuff like that, first off, I not until right before we started talking today, I didn't even put that in the same category with self care because how you view yourself does matter. And
It
some
is.
people need cars and houses and they need to have an ability, but those things can be snatched away from you. And I think that was the point, like
Mm-hmm.
you can have a good job. If you lose that good job, are you still worth something?
Exactly.
You you can be a super duper basketball player, but if you break your knee, are you still worth something? But when you bet on you, when you know that you know that you know you can do it, that's a whole different ball game because there's nothing that can shake that. There's nothing that can change that. There's nothing that can rattle that.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true.
So I looked at that and I'm like, oh, I got to get myself self my self care on a whole different level because
Mm-hmm.
you do have to believe in yourself, and I think that's where the self love starts. Me personally, I was taught, and this may sound familiar to you because you said your dad was you was a very religious household. I was taught that you didn't do anything without God. You are nothing without God. You are nothing without Jesus. And you just gung ho believe in him because you can't do it without him. So like pretty much you're nothing because he's the master and you're the slave. So then as I started to get older, so we have this, my mom is telling me I have to be 100% dependent on this being, this God, this Jesus, this everything. And then there's, in my mind, nowhere for self. So I can believe in everything but myself, which ultimately when stuff starts to go wrong, because something always goes wrong in life, then I'm not looking at myself on that confidence level because I haven't worked up the self-confidence or the self-esteem to be able to feel like I, Meredidra, the slave, can do anything.
Exactly.
So I
was raised pretty much the same way. Oh, God did it, Jesus did it. But I'm looking like he may have a little part in it, but I'm the one who did the damn work. Like, I gotta congratulate me as well, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. Most definitely, I do.
But then as I got older, then my mom was like, you have to believe in yourself. So now it's like, okay, now I'm confused because do I believe in me? Or, you know, where does he come in? And where does this power come in? And I'm an Aquarius. So I am all day afloat with 110 overwhelming thoughts. Okay, this ain't you know, when you tell me something, I'm gonna analyze it 77777, and then 666, and then 101010. Like my brain is consistently focusing on that thing, and it's like, okay. And now here it is, years in my journey. And she's like, well, you have to believe in yourself. And I'm like, well, what the hell can I do? You know, like, where how do you teach me the balance? You know, how do you learn, especially as a Black woman? I mean, as a woman in general, but really a Black woman, because we are so under everything. How do you even look at yourself and be like, okay, you know, I can do anything? And of course you get to that mind frame because you grow and you work with yourself, but it was a hell of a journey for me. Okay.
I can absolutely agree with you on that. Absolutely. You know, being sometimes in the religious household, like you said, we've been taught to praise God, praise Jesus and that, and you do wrong, this gonna happen, like, and sometimes that could build a child down. That's sometimes you could tear a child's self-esteem down. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they still trying to be perfect in someone else's eye, and they putting what they like or they trying to do on the back burner because they trying to please someone else.
And then even to piggy off that, it makes you try to please someone else, but in the same token, you're trying to please your parents as well. Mm-hmm. My mom had this thing where she would tell us, if you got a C, you got on punishment because you're not an average child. So I don't expect you to do average work. And then when you don't give perfect, because nobody's perfect, then you're beating yourself down. It was, you know, for me, it was really hard because I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be I have to get an A. I have to get an A. A B is not acceptable. A C is, if girl, let me get a D. Woo, Lord have mercy. My ass would be grass and she would be the lawnmower, like no lie. But it gives this demeaning thing for me as a child because I want to be perfect. And then you do something and you're a bad child and it wasn't a bad behavior. My mom didn't get into, I call it her soft parenting zone until she got grandkids. And then all of a sudden these are acceptable. All of a sudden you can't master everything. all of a sudden, don't say I can't, because you can do anything. You can do anything. You can do anything. And I'm like, well, where was that grace and mercy when I was a kid? Because now I'm stuck in this zone trying to unteach myself this worldly version of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I can't accept me for the beautiful creature that I am because I'm looking for imperfections.
Yep.
And I'm not thinking about me. I went through a phase where I had dressed up every day, probably from 8th to 12th grade. I didn't even know what a tenny, what? Who wears tennis shoes? Like, what? Then when I was 20, I got pregnant with my son, and I was like, oh, I gotta trade in these heels for these tennis shoes because I got a boy. Like, we ain't going to Chuck E. Cheese in the stilettos. I gotta play with my son. So I went from one extreme to a next extreme. My extreme was to be overly dressed up. I mean, like, I'm ready. Okay. All you had to do was say go. I probably had an outfit in my car. I was ready. Okay. I didn't come out the house with my hair not combed. I didn't come out the house not looking like how I felt like a woman should look. Like, I mean, I'm talking about I had to be cute, honey. Then I have my son, and I go into a depression because I'm not adjusting to this parent life. And now my second extreme is now I don't want to get dressed up. So now I'm just kicking it in my pajamas and sometimes jeans, and I'm a bum pretty much, like, because I'm not meeting anybody's standards. And then here we go again with not having that self-confidence to even be able to accept myself where I was, because there's no middle for me. Is you gonna get all the way up or you're gonna get all the way down? I'm sorry, y'all, my baby waste fingernail polish. Every time my arm goes up, that's fingernail polish that I can't get off. She got it all on the couch right before the show. I'm not dirty. It's just some fingernail polish. But touche, I have a daughter, and she's glitz and glam, and I'm bum and sham. Okay. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta step it up again, because my son's 17. He like, Mom, you look like a bum all the time. Except for over the holiday weekend when his friend's uncle was trying to hit on me. He was like, you need to go look like a bum. Like, go put your sweats on. Go put your sweats on. But I really said all of that to say, like, we fall into different, because then I fell into depression and nobody realized that my extreme from my high to my low was my depression shifting, because now I'm nobody's version of perfect, not even my own.
Yeah.
What you got tickling over there? You look like you got a lot to say.
I'm just going over my notes. I just want to hit on, because a lot of people don't even know what self-love is. Because you got some people, they think getting their hair and nails done it's I do love myself. That's self-care, not necessarily the inner self-love. Because you got women who, get out here, I'm talking about, they are beautiful, but in the inside, they don't love themselves. Self-care is a part of self-love, but getting your hair, your nails, and your feet done ain't necessarily self-love. You have to accept yourself, understand self. You got to accept the flaws in all. Okay, putting yourself first at all times. That's self-love, Taking accountability for your actions is self-love. Yeah. Doing shadow work to heal your past trauma and accept your past trauma, because guess what? You had to go through that in order to get to the person you are today. That is self-love. Then when you get all that inner healing and understanding, then comes the self-care. You know what I'm saying? The self-care don't necessarily get your hair, your nails done. Sometimes it's eating better, exercising, sitting in that sun, grounding self, surrounding yourself with more positive individuals. cutting out certain places that you know you ain't got no business going to. That's self-love. They're putting self first. You know what I'm saying? Being protected of your real being, as well as it's part of self-love.
And I also think, to add on to what you're saying, is intimacy with yourself, and not, I hate when people don't understand what intimacy is. I'm not talking about touching yourself. I'm talking about those intimate moments with yourself, that looking in the mirror saying, I love you, writing love letters to yourself, taking yourself out on dates. It's deeper than, like, the same connection that you desire with a person would have to be the same connection that you'd have to have with you after, Felicia said it, hear me, after you start to heal yourself. After the healing, then the healing is like step 1. And then step 2 is like, okay, now I'm serrating myself. I'm celebrating myself. I'm nurturing myself, I'm okay with going in my room and closing the door, spending that time by myself because I love the company that I keep.
Amen. 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 And that's a lot of problem with people nowadays. They so afraid of being alone. Sometimes you need to be alone in order to understand selves. Have some sit down and have some self-reflection. That is part of self-love.
Right. And here's the same thing. I will have friends. This is crazy. You talked about this, our first episode, the actually touching yourself. Mm-hmm. I'll have friends that'll say, like, oh, you got to play with you got to play with yourself so you know what you like. Okay. I can boogie with that. So I got to touch myself to know what I like, because I'm the best person to know what I like. But I can't spend 5 minutes to love my own company. That same friend won't say, hey, you know what? You got to romance yourself. Play some slow jams for yourself. Look in the mirror and Coco Jones yourself. There's nothing like my own hands on my body, better than anybody's hands, Mm-hmm. And this is not, and I'm not saying this in the like play with yourself way. I'm saying wrap your arms around yourself, hug yourself, love yourself. Mary J. Blige talked about it. J-Lo talked about it. Having to look in the mirror and love that person, forgive that person for everything that you feel like that person did to you. Because if we go to society, things happen because some of the stuff we allow. So when people treat us like shit, we have allowed those people to treat us like shit. We have allowed those people to break our boundaries repeatedly. We have decided to settle because we don't see ourselves as better. So you know what? We owe ourselves an apology. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where you hit it. The shadow work comes in. But you have to feel those emotions, okay?
You definitely do.
You have to be able to say, like, hey, you know what? I can have a vulnerable moment with myself. I can have a vulnerable moment with Felicia. That's my sister. And she is not going to look at me like, oh, this bitch is weak. No, because self-love also comes from, like she said before, the people that are around you. Your circle should be encouraging you. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't even got to fix my crown all the time, don't knock it on the ground, okay?
Yeah.
Hold me accountable for my bullshit. Don't jump on the bandwagon like, oh, D, you said some dumbass shit, but girl, let's go with it. No. Check me like, yo, D, that's some dumbass shit. We're not doing that today.
Absolutely.
But the society that we're in now is so, I'm going to call it microwave, quick, fast, and in a hurry. If your friend is not on your bandwagon, then they're your foe. And I just feel like that is so crazy.
I'm going through a situation like that at work now. I got a group of women who just don't understand me. Like, she always by herself. She always so peaceful. They want to call me weird because I'm not with the clique gang. I already peep your energy. I know how you guys are. And y'all not the people I would want to surround myself with. And I think what pissing them off the most is they see that I really don't give a fuck. Like, I could sit here because guess what? I love myself enough, and I'm a whole fucking vibe by myself. You know what I'm saying? They be so upset, like this bitch over there smiling, this a heck by herself. She ain't got no friends. I don't need no friends because you people is not friends at all. Y'all sit around, y'all talk about each other. I'm talking about dog each other, but y'all in each other's face. Hey, girl, no, I ain't with all that shit. I love myself enough to be by my goddamn self. I know how to be by myself.
And you know what? It is so funny that you just said that because me and my son was talking, and I told him, you know, he had someone, I seen him, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't like his energy towards you. It's giving hate. Like I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Like it was just the look. And so he was like, well, you know, mom, he hang with my other friends, so I hang with him. And I'm like, sir, this is not reality fucking TV, because that's the only time you hang around a bunch of motherfuckers that don't like you. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you getting paid to do it. So your reality is work. You don't work, my dear. So there's no reason why you should have people in the midst of you that don't like you.
Exactly.
Like, no, this is not reality TV. I feel the same way. I'm like, nah, bitches is weird. I don't do bitches because they're weird. If you're in my circle, it's because I invited you. And I think it's been 6 months, maybe give or take 1 or 2, when I had made a message in the Love of the Craft group. And I said, you know, God is elevating people. You're getting elevated, so you got to be able to spend some time by yourself. Mm-hmm. Because when you get elevated, sometimes people can't go where you're going.
Exactly.
They cannot go where you're going. And unbeknownst to me, that message was probably more for me than it was for the group. Because after that, shit started to hit the fan. And I'm like, tap, wait, God, hold on, sir. Mm-hmm. I can't take no more, okay? I am not Hercules. Like, I'm done. But in the process, I had to lose some people. I had to lose people that I thought would always be in my corner. Like, yes. Like someone that's been my friend for 20 years. Like, I done watched her kids grow up. We grew up together. And just one day, like, oh, you know what? We're not real friends because you go through stuff by yourself. I'm like, whoa. And then I started to lose other things. But what I didn't lose was me. Exactly. Because God was telling me, like, you need to be comfortable in your skin. And I'll be the first to tell you, there's no one better than me, okay? Like, I love to be around me. But sometimes when I'm all in my head, it's like the walls is closing in. So I'm like, okay, like, if it's time for me to go, just say that, because I don't like where this is going. But I also seen in the time of this elevation, because I feel like I'm still in it. And Felicia had gave me a message a couple of days ago. It might have been last week. We were texting. You gave me the message. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think it was last week. I said I had to sit myself down. But I had almost went back out there. I was like, no, she's right. This is my time to keep it with myself. So I'm gonna have several seats. And I'm going to stay seated. But there's things that happen. I told Felicia about my day. I'm not going to get into it, but this is just, Felicia knows what my day yesterday was. Mm-hmm. But it was a moment yesterday where I almost went back to the bullshit that I've been worked for months to get out of. Like, I'm like, about to call up Drake, because listen, he understands me. He understands that I need him right now. And Spirit is like, nah, you need me. But it took a second, because I'm not vulnerable with myself. And I'm like, whoa, that's deep. How can I even give someone the purest form of me when I can't even be vulnerable with myself?
Amen. You got to know how to love self. You know, you got to know your strength and your weakness. Because if you don't, ain't nobody going to know how to love you properly. You got to know how to love you.
You're right.
That is so true. And I want to piggyback on the elevation. Like, I lost a lot of people, you know, when I got into my spirituality very heavy. And it was so crazy to me. It was mostly family members. I lost a friend, I thought was a friend. She wasn't really my friend. But the most sad thing was family. Like, it was so crazy how my family just turned on me. Like, oh my God, really start to see them for who they are. And it was like, damn, I was so blindsided. Sometimes I don't even lie. I ignore some red flag because I'm like, this is my family. We'll work it out. But listen, ain't no working shit out. These people hated my motherfucking guts. They really did.
I'ma tell you, family. Whew. This is a hit the woo. And listen, y'all, I'm emotional. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm emotional because I've been on prednisone for 14 days, 60 milligrams. My emotions are everywhere. So if I cry, I'm just emotional. But this is my right, but this is my soft girl time. Mm-hmm. Because I am, like Felicia, I am who I am. Mm-hmm. And I have always been taught to pour into everybody. Yeah. I could be on my lowest, but if Felicia needed me, I would pour into her. My cup could be empty, and I'm going to find something to pour into someone else because I haven't been able to pour those things on myself. Mm-hmm. So I got to a point with my siblings to where I was the send me, I'll go person. Oh, this is going. Oh, my kid needs to go to the doctor. I'll take them. I'll do it. It's an honor for me to serve your children. Oh, I need to go to the grocery. I'll go to the grocery store. I love going to Walmart. I'll go. Please let me go. Let me go. Pick me. And that was me. I have been running a fever of 103, sitting at the hospital with my mom with 3 siblings there that would not come to the hospital because it was my job to be there. Mm-hmm. My brother said I got a wife and a kid. Mm. My sister was just like, I just can't go to the hospital right now. And my other sister was, I'm trying to find myself. I then had a boyfriend. So, and we were living together. 5 years, common law marriage, okay? So I then, I guess, had a husband. I had 2 kids to take care of. I worked a full-time job trying to run a business, and I'm running on empty. Like this glass, y'all, this was me. There was nothing to pour, and I'm still trying to pour. So then my siblings got mad at me, and they came at me so crazy in my elevation time. Now my blood pressure is stroke level. I can't sleep. I can't even eat. And I ain't never been a person to get so mad that I can't eat because you don't get these hips from not eating, okay? But it was so bad for me in that moment. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do nothing. I said, oh, God, if you wanted me to set boundaries, just say that. And then I started to set boundaries, and then they started to treat me different. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm not send me, I'll go. It's you got to ask me. Yeah. Now you got to do this. To then months later, because my siblings pissed me off in June. To now, I'm in a hard spot, and my siblings have been so much better to me. Like, they've been better to me now than they've ever been to me in my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. But it's because I had to stop and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put D first. I'm going to only do what I can do. And everybody has to be okay with it. And if you're not okay, fuck you. And I meant it when I said it. And that's exactly how I said it. I'm going to do what's best for me and my babies. And if you don't like it, fuck you. And they pushed. They pushed. But I didn't budge. I'm like, yo, and I'm in my grounding. Feet planted, I'm a tree. Okay? Look, I'm a tree. But that was my first act of boundaries, which boundaries is one of the biggest form of self-care, self-love ever.
Yes, it is. No matter who the person is. Like I had to do it with my siblings and my father. I was here taking care of my father by my damn self, paying all the bills, buying groceries, making sure he was back and forth to the hospital for his doctor's appointments, meeting here with nurses to do physical therapy here, and I had no help. I was fucking drained. Not to mention he was a drunk, disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Getting money in Atlanta, refused to switch his bank over so I could at least put him in a senior citizen apartment or something. Just refused to do any damn thing. And you know what I had to say to myself? What the hell are you doing? Mm-hmm. This man had lived his life. You need to start living yours. You can't keep taking care of other motherfuckers. And that was my problem too. I done moved people in my house rent-free 3 months. And after 3 months, I say, you know what? You've been here 3 months. Now it's time to pay rent. Then I'm getting jumped on, getting beat up. But like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I would never do that again. But my father, I sent his ass right back to Atlanta. And I don't even lie, for the first month, I felt so bad. And Spirit kept telling me, stop feeling bad. You had to do what you had to do. He a grown-ass man. He know what he got to do. You know, so no matter the situation or the person, put yourself first. Especially if you're dealing with somebody who ain't even trying. And they see you struggling. They see you depressed. They hear you crying in the next room. And for them not to sit up here and not give a fuck, get them out your circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
They are not your friends. They are 100% foe.
Absolutely. So, not just my father, my mother, child, self-love. I love myself enough to stay away from her. And before my mother passed, she passed in January. I did not see my mother for 3 fucking years. And I didn't feel bad about it because every time I come around that woman, it was so much drama, so much bullshit, the lies. You know, that she allowed me in a minute. You know, she couldn't stand me because I always was the one, I'm going to speak my mind. You wrong, you wrong. I'm going to let you know you wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are to me. You know what I'm saying? And if you come around me, you got to show me some respect. You got to give respect in order to get it. You know what I'm saying? That's this type of person that I am. But I ain't see her for 3 years before she passed. And I ain't gonna lie and hold y'all up. I didn't feel no type of way when she passed. Because it's like, I never had a mother. But I had to separate myself from her. And she was just so evil. And she was just so wicked. She would text my phone some off the wall shit and I wouldn't respond. Or I didn't give her the response that she wanted. Oh, she telling lies. No. I don't talk to that woman. You have people hating me so much they believe her and they know damn well we don't even talk. But y'all feeding off her bullshit, the wickedness. You know, but like even if it's your fucking parents, separate your motherfucking self. Don't feel bad because they grown and know what they doing.
Right. And sometimes a separation can bring forth restoration. Mm-hmm. But you have to separate to be able to see clearly.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
In my relationship, when I was doing the relationship coaching, the one thing, if a couple couldn't get along, then I'm gonna tell them step back. Mm-hmm. And you're not stepping back like, step back could be you in room A and they in room B, because you need to appreciate that person. You need to appreciate and see how you add value to that person and how that person adds value to you. And once you're able to see, sometimes you may not see value in that person. They may just, you like, bro, you've been out my personal space for 10 minutes and I'm a whole new bitch. Like,
exactly.
Deuces. But you have to take that time of separation and you have to be able to look at yourself, because it starts with self. Mm-hmm. I pray and I feel like God talks to me and Spirit talks to me, and sometimes I'll be praying about my son and I'm like, oh Lord, this son that you have blessed me with, Lord. And my child is not a bad child. He ain't got in no trouble. I mean, he's a good child. And then sometimes it's merely just seeing the me that's in him. And I'm like, oh, that's why I don't like you today. Because you acted like me. But you have to be able to see the behaviors, accept your behaviors. self-acceptance. You know what? Hey, I'm not perfect. I'm perfect for myself. I'm the perfect version of myself. But we have to be able to accept that. And I think a lot of it is we're not taught to have those moments with ourselves.
No, we're not.
We're not taught that it's okay. And sometimes I started off saying like my self-love is kind of crappy, but sometimes maybe I'm not even gonna say my self-love is even that crappy, because sometimes a moment of self-love is just having tea before I go to bed. That's a simple practice.
It sure is.
Tea, and when you have coffees and teas, you can put so much energy because they're water based. You can talk to your coffee and your tea. That is how 99% of the people start their morning. I need this coffee to start my day. Yeah, you need that coffee to start your day because you put your intentions in it. No matter what intentions you put in it, you put that intention in your coffee. And the first part of grounding with your coffee is you're taking in that aroma. So you smelling that coffee. But see, those are things that we don't look at because those are things that we take for granted. Those grateful things that we don't take gratefully. Like you might not think about like, how do you smell tea? I got this cinnamon tea that literally I can put it on my mantle and I can smell it in the whole front area of my house. I got 1,500 square feet. Okay. Like I can smell it. And that's the first part of setting my day is hell. Sometimes I even brew coffee not to drink it. I just brew it because I like it.
I like the smell of it, but I can't drink it.
Now, I think my coffee time really goes with what ancestor I'm really, really vibing with at that moment. Because sometimes it's my grandma, and that was one of the things that we did together. We drank coffee. Her and my step granddad, we drank coffee together. So sometimes if I'm missing one of them, it's like, okay, you know what? I got to vibe with this coffee. And then sometimes I just got to make the coffee and put it on my altar. Like, I'm going to put this coffee on my altar. I'm going to give it to my ancestors. And if I'm real lazy, I make the coffee like, ancestors, please come in this kitchen and get your own coffee. Get your own coffee. You good? Okay, give me 2 minutes. Look, get your own coffee because I ain't about to give it to you, okay?
Yeah, most definitely. And I tell you, they love their coffee, honey. Like it fresh and hot and fresh, ready, and dark.
There was this is so funny. There's this one. This was at my very first apartment because when I lived with my mom, when you walk in my door, there's an altar right there. It's not like a big altar, but it's an altar. I got my water, my coffee, my candle. As soon as you walk in my house, you know what you're coming into. Like if you don't, then it is what it is. But I'm not moving it. I went through my phase of moving my shit for people. I'm not. If you're not comfortable with what I do in my house, don't come in my house.
Exactly.
But when you come in, it's my coffee. When I first started this at my old apartment, I was really stuck in between how to present my offerings to my ancestors. So I would put the coffee on the altar and I would put creamer in it. And I was like, my grandmother liked creamer in her coffee. She liked French vanilla. But I just wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. So me, ancestors, if you don't like this coffee, give me a sign. I'm saying this off the hook, y'all. So I put the coffee on the dresser. A couple minutes later, I hear whoosh. And the coffee is knocked over. I'm like, I don't know how I knocked the coffee over from the kitchen and I'm in the altars in the bedroom, but whatever. So I put the coffee on there again. I was like, okay, maybe I didn't put enough creamer, so I'm putting more creamer. Next day, the coffee is all moldy. I'm like, okay.
I got a story that happened like that. I ended up buying some oranges, not knowing they was seedless. Girl, I put the orange on the altar. The next day I came to pray. That motherfucker had mold all on. I'm like, maybe this was a bad orange.
Right.
Put another orange on there. Girl, I came home from work. That motherfucker across the room. I said, nah, okay, I got it, y'all. So I was like, let me cut the orange open. Like, what's wrong with it? It had no seeds in it. Your ancestors, yes, they would speak to you. They would give you some signs. Like, hey, don't give me that shit no more. And I was like, I got seeds in here. So I was like, okay, y'all, I got you. But they will most definitely let you know.
They will. They will. I remember that coffee. I'm just like, I was just so excited to be able to have my altar out. I didn't even think about, I'm like, oh, la, 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 la. Now I just only put black coffee there. But you can, I think a big part of self-care, which I was going with the coffee before I thought about that story, is having the moments of meditation and meditating with the scents that go with you. A good start to self-care. Mm-hmm. Because you're meditating, and meditation is for you. And I really think that me and Felicia should do a session. I would like to do live, or like maybe on something like this, and just, talk through meditations for people. But just so you know, because sometimes meditation is not, that's not all the time meditation. My biggest form of meditation is music.
Mine too. I love
it. It really goes with, sometimes I'm Kenny G. If you don't know Kenny G, that's gas. That's jazz. Sorry, not gas. Jazz. Sometimes I'm jazz. Sometimes I'm Monica. I got love all over me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I am, God, I can't think. I think it's Kendrick Lamar. He got a song that's called Fuck You. And he harmonized the whole song. He's just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you. Hey. I'll send it to you, girl. And it's my shit. And then sometimes I'm Tupac, fat motherfucker. That's why I fucked your bitch. I mean, it just really depends. If I was having a bad day at work yesterday, I was straight hit them up. But that kept me going. That's how I was pouring back into myself, because it's the music, it's the moves. I'm a dancer, not a stripper, y'all. I used to dance at church and all that other stuff, but it's the movement, and dancing is another good form of meditation.
Yes, it is.
And we do need to meditate, because you do sometimes need to slow yourself down and just have that moment. If you take, I would say, at least 60 seconds every hour, 1 minute every hour, and just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, that will change the flow of your day. Mm-hmm. Because you're allowing you're allowing yourself the time to literally just stop. And sometimes we are go, 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 bam, 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 that we don't just have a kind of moment.
And also, I want people to know, them lazy days count as well as self-love. Mm-hmm. It's okay to sit your ass down and crash for a while. Them lazy days is also very important.
Dang, Felicia, why you gotta go throw me under the bus like that?
We having them lazy days, and I used to feel bad. And Spirit say, stop feeling bad. You need your lazy days to sit around and do nothing. That trash little Ford, hey, wait till tomorrow, take that shit off if you can. It's okay, sit down, relax. Open up a book, ground yourself, step outside, just, barefooting, just enjoy the sun. It's okay to have those lazy days, y'all. That still counts as self-love and self-care. Because, sometimes our body be needing that to crash for just a second. Because like she said, sometimes we be on the go, 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 go. Because if you don't sit your ass down, Spirit most definitely don't sit your ass down.
That part. Ooh, Felicia, stop before I be sitting down and I be texting you like, damn it.
I got myself days. I try to come to my altar every day. Mostly every day I come to my altar. And some days I don't, but I peek my head and be like, hey, ancestors, you know what I'm saying? They know what time it is. She finna have a crash day. I'm finna sit my black ass out on this couch, watch a little TV if I can, stroll on Facebook. Yeah, today is my lazy day, so ain't nothing wrong with having a lazy day, y'all. Don't feel guilty about it. It's necessary. It's necessary.
And let's just push it a little bit further, because we're gonna have some Bible thumpers that come on here. even God had a day of rest.
That's right.
I mean, let's just society tells us that we gotta go. But if you look at it, even God had a day of rest. Now, if you do it on Saturday or Sunday, that's up to you. But rest is important. It's important because, again, our bodies is not supposed to be in go mode all the time. And if you look at it just scientifically, we're supposed to get 6 to 10 hours of sleep. And if you like me, you might only get 4 hours of sleep. So when you only get 4 hours of sleep, your body is automatically in fight or flight mode all the time. So it is important to just have several seats. And again, I need to make sure I take heed to this before I be having some seats that I'm like not ready for. Because when you don't rest, then you start to get sick. Then you got high blood pressure. Then you got stress.
Yeah, it's like stress. And those things can kill you.
Depression, anxiety. Because those are your body's way of responding to your body not doing what it's naturally supposed to do.
Most definitely.
And sometimes, because I'm a busybody, I will tell y'all, like, sometimes I just need to go. Like, I need to go. My thoughts is racing, so if my body is moving, my thoughts can be slower. That's my thought process. But again, it's that moment, What helps you relax? What makes you feel good? Do we even know? Another thing I need to get back into doing for my self-care is journaling, because your body needs to have that release. Sometimes you need to purge. Maybe your purging is screaming. Maybe it's yelling. Maybe it's breaking shit. I can't be breaking my shit. I work too hard for it. Okay. But my purge is a hobby. My hobby is writing. I think Felicia gets a good release from writing too.
Yes, you got to release this anxiety, depression, this unwanted energy. You have to release it some way, somehow. If you got to sit in the corner and cry. Hey, I think more a therapeutic way is in the shower. While the shower run on you, cry, release. Then speak those affirmations. Tell spirit what you want spirit to let go of. Hey, wash me clean of this anxiety. Wash me clean of this depression. This sorrow. This unhealedness. You know what I'm saying? I want to be whole again. Speak that into that water in that shower. Yes. And watch these miracles happen. And that's one thing I do. Sometimes I get in the shower and I speak my affirmation, like, "Ooh, wash my body clean. Let's get away from this anxiety, depression, and I'm a whole new motherfucker." And I will recommend cold showers when you do it. A lot of people don't like cold shower, but it's something about a cold shower. It helps with anxiety and depression as well. So I would recommend you doing it in the cold shower, doing that.
So there's this study. Okay, my life coach shit is coming out. Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna step from my Black side to my Caucasian side and say that there's this study that shows that when you do something like a cold shower, it's called the cold face. So you would take a bowl of ice water when you're feeling anxious, and you put your face in the ice water because it changes your body, and it makes you take a second, because that cold water will make you go,
a full reset.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But my mentor, when I started to get into Vodou, my mentor, she would say that anytime you're taking a spiritual bath, the water, because when you're releasing something from you, you're not sitting in that spiritual bath. You're pouring it on your head, starting from the top to the bottom. And you pour the cold, you would prepare your stuff and then you pour it on your head. It's cold because it shocks your system. So that's how you're getting that stuff off of you. So you are onto something with that cold water. I don't know if I can step on that side because I'll be trying to put my spiritual baths in the microwave for a couple.
Mm. But I'm telling you, like, try it. Just try the cold shower one day, and you're gonna be so energized. Like, you're gonna be like, wow, that cold water really did something. And yes, it works. I'm a witness to that because I do it every so often. I would take me a real cold shower, and I'll be up, just energized and ready to go today. Like, yeah, shoot.
It's funny. She's saying the cold showers. For me, it's a hot shower. Now, it's a shower because showers for me are intimate. Okay, I don't shower with anybody outside of myself. So I'm loving how the water's hitting me. I mean, like it is a very intimate experience. Okay, like I probably could have a whole field day with myself in the shower. I don't like, but showers are very intimate for me. But sometimes when you get in that shower, even with the hot shower, if you do cold, you got to make sure you wash your hair because your brain is where most of that, where the trouble starts. Like I was in a mood last week and I'm like, okay, I'm laying in the bed and I'm like, oh God, if I could just get the energy to get in the shower, I would feel like a whole new person. Like, I just want to get in the shower. I just want to get in the shower. But my body is tired because it's trying to fight pneumonia. It's trying to fight me working all these hours on top of being sick. But when I actually got in the shower, I had to wash my hair. With my braids, I was like, okay, I'm putting the stuff on there. I'm washing. And that did help. Like, I could literally feel some of the weight just lifting off of me. Like, when I got in the shower, my head was heavy, and if you're a woman and you got braids or you got regular hair, sometimes your hair is just heavy. But when I really got to get in there and scrub and wash it out, I started to feel lighter. And I think that's what we're really saying is, you got to do what's going to make you feel lighter.
Most definitely.
I like to challenge people to I guess the people about to be Felicia probably already got this down packed, but I would say starting on December 1st, we take 31 days in December to spend to actually hold someone accountable, which it would probably be me and Felicia holding each other accountable, whatever. We are open to hold other people accountable too. Just y'all need to throw that out there. Of taking 30 minutes out to do something for yourself. And it don't have to be anything. You ain't got to go and buy yourself a 10-course meal. You just got to journal or draw a picture, whatever's going to give you that.
Learn something new, read a book, research something,
Yes. COVID was the most productive time for me.
Yes, it was for me too.
Because I learned, so I had a list. It was probably 100 things on the list of things that I wanted to do. And I think I did all except for 10 things on that list. I'm going to have to try to find it. But it was the time that I spent learning stuff because elevation is elevation, right? When you learn something, you elevate yourself.
That's right.
You've made yourself more marketable. Even if I just tell Felicia, girl, during COVID, I became a relationship coach, a life coach, a herbalist, a bartender.
And that sounds like me. I can't. Sometimes I sit around and sometimes I just can't. I'm like, let me do something, take some online courses, read a book, Yeah, go out of town somewhere, do a little sightseeing and, sit down and write out some plans, for the future. So yeah, I tend to do that. And I did that mostly for the 2020 with doing COVID. I enjoyed my fucking self. People was all scared. I was outside. I ain't give a damn. I was at the restaurants. I'm going to Chicago. Oh my God. I really enjoyed myself during COVID. I fucking even mapped out a whole fucking business plan. Just sitting there. I made sure I had something to do and I enjoyed myself. Like I said, COVID was a curse to some and a blessing to others. It was a blessing to me. baby. Did I
Yeah.
learn something about me? I really did enjoy myself during that COVID time. And I guess what? And that's another thing. People was living in fear. I was fearless at that time. I was completely fearless, loving life and loving me. So yeah.
And it's funny. I was thinking about COVID. People were like, "Oh my God, I had to spend time with my partner." COVID was a good time for me and Dre. Like we did not. It was not one of those. Oh my God, we caught in the house with each other and we hate each other. No, we were loving on each other. We were making TikToks with the kids. Like we had so much time together
Mm-hmm.
because we value the people that were around us that we loved. And you know what? It was only us around us. So I guess that's what made it a little bit different too. It was us around us.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a time where it was like, oh my God, these kids, I hate these kids. It was like, oh my God, my babies. Like, yes, I'm spending time. I'm getting to know my teenager. I mean, I already know him, but I'm getting to know my teenager. I'm realizing that life is too short not to value the people that are around me because my circle is small. So if you there, I invited you
Mm-hmm.
and I'm keeping you there because I love you. And that's not like I don't take those words lightly. Like if I'm telling you like Felicia, I love you. I love you. Like we riding and we rolling till the motherfucking wheels fall off, okay?
Yeah.
Like we be on the highway with one fucking wheel, and I'm like, all right, Ish, I don't know what the fuck we about to do, but we going for it, okay? It's like shit, it's looking bad, but we gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just a time where people didn't value, and I feel like we're getting right back to that spot. But you do have to value yourself before you can value anybody else.
Most definitely.
Any final thoughts, Miss Ish?
All I'm gonna say, self-love is the best love. And I would recommend everybody to get into it. Take those small steps, go into their mirror, look at yourself, and you talk to self. Let self know, I forgive you. I love you. You are important. Your best is enough. Okay? Try saying that in the mirror. Go in the shower and say it. Speak those information before you drink that coffee or your tea. And when you drink your coffee or your tea, feel it, visualize it. And those are my final thoughts.
And the one thing we talked about some things that help. One thing that really helps me is a diffuser. I will swear by aromatherapy. I will. Like I love it because it does give you that. So I guess I'm going with the meditation
Mm-hmm.
with your aromatherapy because it does give you that moment. Scents are so important. One of my favorite, this is just my personal favorite for my own personal self-love, is grapefruit. Oh my God. Like if you ain't hip to it, a little grapefruit, a little lemon grass. Oh my God. Just mix them together and just take in that aroma
Mm-hmm.
and it will lift your mood. Like I'm telling you, like I always feel a difference when I hit my grapefruit and my it's like 2 drops of grapefruit and 1 of lemongrass, and it just gives you a full out kind of moment.
I'm gonna have to
But
try
I
it.
would you should, girl, I'm telling you. The smell is it was like, oh my God, like I will diffuse it. Elliot's like, what's that smell, Mom? Like, it's this good old grapefruit. Bam. But the takeaways is definitely spend the time with yourself. I don't know if maybe we're gonna have to like do a series on this self-love. I mean, I feel like we hit a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
we can talk about more ways. So this is more ways, like with senior bowls. I tend to use that a lot too when I'm having a day. Ooh, that senior bowl. I don't know what it is, but give me chills. It just knock that bad energy off. And like you said, the aromatherapy, different type of scents. Like I just got into comfort. Burning that in the aroma, a little thingy or thingies, and let me tell you, like it just so smooth, like and soothing. I just be so relaxed, like, oh my God. But yeah, we could most definitely piggyback on this and different episodes because it's so many ways. And I think self-love is so important. And if we could do it every month, just piggyback on some,
Yeah.
good for me.
Or we can even challenge you every Friday because Friday is that's the Venus for love.
Yeah, that's the day of love. Most definitely.
And it does, as hard as it is, you have to be okay with being with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say first small steps is writing yourself an apology. I am Deidre, I'm sorry. And you can even when I started my apology, like I'm sorry for, and then I listed all of the things that I felt like I was pissed off at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this over and over again until I could do it without crying.
Yep.
Because once you can do it without crying, then you've reached to a next step. So now I've apologized. I've accepted the apology. Then I have to forgive myself. So Deidre, I forgive you for, and then listing those things out. And then once I felt better with that, then you can move on to something else. But a little bit does go a long way. So take some time. And maybe we need to hit on shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's a big thing for everybody. Oh my God, this shadow book journal is the best thing that ever happened to me. But I feel like you probably need a little bit more than the journal. But I haven't looked at this shadow book journal. I've been thinking about purchasing it,
The one from TikTok?
Yeah, that streaming one. I want to know what all these people is getting from this.
That nigga is too hype about it, but me, something tell me to stay away from it, so I'm gonna stay away from it. I'm gonna just do my own thing, like
I do. You know what? I do my own thing, but my nosy ass be wanting to know, like.
But they probably just overhyping it, like it's a trend. Like spirituality should not be a trend; it's a fucking lifestyle. It's not a trend. People playing around too much with this, and I don't like it, but to each
other. But you know what? It's the same thing, like there's people that play church.
They do.
Because if you really look at it, and I'm not gonna go all the way on the bandwagon, but the church is the person. It's not the building. It's not the pastor. It's not the deacons, the first deacon, the second deacon, the third deacon. And I should not have to go through 6 or 7 people to access the person of God, because that wasn't how churches were designed, because priests and preachers were supposed to be available for the people. Mm-hmm. But we is not going to go on my whole tandem about that. But I will say that it starts with you. The people are the church. The people are you are your spirituality. So it starts with you. But
I wanted to when we piggyback on the self-love and we talk about the different things, I also want to come over here and I want to teach these people in order to make a self-love jar or even a self-love candle.
Oh, we could I got the stuff for candles. We could do both of those things. The good herbs. Remember we talked about with our love, the one, you did give us that one recipe. Mm-hmm. There's even self-love teas. Like we definitely should pick it, like I guess once a month to come on and really talk about it, because you have to love the me that you see. And listen, I keep it posted, okay? It is. I got a whole bulletin of because if it doesn't start with you, so we definitely can do that. Get on there, teach them something else. You teach them a jar. I teach them a tea or something. Because you can, when you start to realize that you can speak into stuff like how much energy water holds. Like I can tell my water, this is a great day. And then drink my water by my bed. I can write on my water bottle. I can write on my candle. See, people don't understand. Yes. But everything is starting to become a fad. Like she's saying, like, oh, I seen it on TikTok, so I can do it. Oh, I learned this on TikTok, so I can do it. Oh no, it's so much more.
It is.
God wants you to have a relationship with them. Your ancestors want to have a relationship with you. You have to have a relationship with yourself because, like Felicia has said several times today, nobody's going to love you how you love you. Okay. And if I don't love me, then I'm not the best version of a mom, a sister, a cousin, an auntie,
Nope.
nothing. And you have to be the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll definitely have to do a to be continued.
Most definitely. And I hope everybody stay in tune, you know, be on the lookout because it's most definitely going to be worthy of it. Most definitely going to be worthy.
Yes. All right. Well, it's been real. Good night, y'all. And we'll see y'all next week.